you deserve the fullness that life has to offer. So why not make the small moments more special, delicious, and enchanting? Life Reimagined is where self-love comes first. Let's indulge in the simple pleasures, dig deeper into what we deserve, and make our spaces just a little more beautiful along the way. Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Life Reimagined. I have been gone for a few weekends because your girl had a birthday trip and just a lot of things going on. My mom actually moved in, which I'm very excited about. She's going to be here to help us with our little bundle of joy when he arrives later on this fall. So your girl's been busy and doing all of the things, but during that busyness and all of the commotion and everything that was going on, I started to smell and feel the change of seasons. And this is crazy coming from somebody who usually is obsessed with summer. Like, summer is my season. I like it because I don't have to wear a lot of clothes. It's hot. There's more travel, beaches, pools, all of the things. You're out and about a lot more. I think in recent years, and as I've gotten older, and also as I've settled into my house and really making my home a home and cozy, fall is becoming my favorite season. I know, I know. And actually, fall is a lot of people's favorite seasons. I think the fashion is a little bit better during the fall season because you can layer, you can try different patterns, prints, coats, outerwear is popping. And not to mention food, snacks, drinks, all the things. Fall food is just everything. I'm coming over. I'm coming over to the side of all things fall, and I've just been feeling the vibes. And it's not quite fall yet. We still have about a week until it is officially the fall season. But nevertheless, we want to start transitioning our home. We want to start getting our space in the mood, in the cozy, cozy vibes of the fall energy and atmosphere. And one way that you can do that, if you don't have the budget, is by bringing in some fresh florals. And flowers make a huge difference, especially if you go by the color schemes of the season or a theme, whatever it is you're going for. They can really brighten the mood and just make your space a little bit more exciting, similar to plants, which is another video that I did for Life Reimagined a few weeks ago. So as you can see, we have a bunch of different fall colors here. We're going for rich texture, bold, vibrant colors right now. It's not over the top fall, but it gives the vibes, which makes me really happy. And the great thing about flowers is that you don't need to go anywhere super expensive to get them and create your own arrangement. A lot of times when we order from these different floral services or go to our local florist and have them make us a bouquet, it gets really, really expensive. But if you live by a local flower market, if you live by a farmer's market, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, or maybe even your local ShopRite, they generally have a good array of flowers that you can use to make your own bouquet. So I'm gonna go through just some basics, some easy steps on creating a fabulous bouquet at home that isn't going to break the bank and that is not over the top difficult for you to try on your own if you've never made one yourself. So the first thing that I did was I took all of my flowers out of the plastic. I have them laid out here. I have my vases here. I have a few different. I really want to make some really big and fabulous floral arrangements. So I have two vases that I'm going to be using mainly, and then I'll just have one little tiny baby one that I'm going to put in the bathroom just to brighten that room up a little bit. So the first thing that you want to do whenever you're making a floral arrangement is you're going to clean it up. If you've ever watched a video of someone putting together a floral arrangement, you're always going to see them take off this greenery on the bottom. And the reason we do that is for a few things. One, because you don't want the greenery on the bottom to contaminate the water. That is going to lower the livelihood of your flowers and your floral arrangement, and your florals are going to die a lot faster than they normally would. And not to mention, if you have greenery on the bottom, it's gonna suck up all the water before it gets to the actual flower at the top. So you wanna make sure that you wanna make sure that your flower is lasting for as long as possible so you're not constantly buying new ones. I have a garbage can over here in case you're wondering. I'm not just throwing this onto the floor. So right now I'm also taking off some of these thorns on these beautiful roses that we have here because I don't want to hurt myself. I'm not in the mood to get stabbed today. So I'm just gently just like pressing the thorns over to the side, and they come off easy, super, super, super easy. And I just take my time with this. I think the one thing that I love about creating floral arrangements and doing anything around the house is that it takes time. Take your time, flow with it, not rush through, because this is supposed to be a therapeutic experience for you. It's supposed to help you to enjoy your home a little bit more, take a slow moment to just indulge in something simple with your hands that doesn't involve scrolling on social media. I'm gonna continue to do this. Oh, and another reason, I didn't even mention that, another reason we like to take the greenery off is also because it just makes it look a little prettier and a little neater. And there is some greenery that I have here underneath that I'm gonna add in. So don't worry, don't feel like the floral arrangement is not gonna have any green in it whatsoever if you take off those leaves at the bottom. When I went to my floral arrangement making class a few weeks ago, I was so sad when the instructor was taking off all of the greenery. I was like, oh my goodness, even at the top? And she was like, even at the top. But I promise you, it'll all come together in the long run. And we're gonna take the greenery off of these flowers as well. And again, if you want to, you can leave just a little bit just for, you know, just for a little bit of whimsy. I spoke about this a little bit in one of my recent videos, the fact that it is the change of season and it's time to reconfigure or reset your intentions for the year. I absolutely love, love, love the switch from summer to fall, because it's just like a new beginning. And I don't know about you, but I am somebody who is always ready and willing to indulge in a new beginning, or rewriting my narrative, or restructuring, and just thinking about all of the ways in which I can get closer to my goals, but make the shifts that are necessary to help me to kind of see them through. I think one easy way to decide whether it's the right time to do that is during the change of seasons. And I think this is one of the biggest shifts of the year, because this is the time where we all collectively slow it down, where we nestle back in our homes because it's too cold to be going outside anywhere else, where we get a little bit cozier, where we start getting a little bit more introspective as well. And I don't know about you, but when it comes to what I want in life and trying to get it, I think those moments of solitude, those moments of quiet, and those moments of calm have helped me the most when it comes to achieving them. Because I think when I'm running around and I have all these different plans, I'm out and about every single day, I am not really like just taking that time for myself, that's when I just feel the most disconnected, honestly. And the fall season helps me to get that connection back and to feel that real connection just with myself in general. And I think with my home overall. This is how I am when I'm cooking too. I don't know about you. Are you someone who's like a messy cook and just does and cleans everything up at the end, or are you like cleaning and going? I feel like for me, I have to clean as I go because I just get really flustered. If there's too much going on around me, I like have to pause and I'm like, These flowers don't really have a ton of greenery at the bottom, but they do have some greenery at the top that's looking a little bit dead. So I'm gonna just take these off as well. So I just wanna ask you today, because you know we get deep on Life Reimagined. Are you feeling the shift? Are you feeling the transition that's happening right now? Not just with the weather, but with yourself and your mindset and with what you want out of life. Do you feel as though this summer you were able to fulfill the needs, wants, goals that were deep down in your heart? Or do you feel like you still have a little bit of work to do before the year goes? For me personally, I feel like I still have a little bit of work to do. And I try not to stress myself out, and I try not to be too hard on myself right now, especially because I am pregnant. And there was already a big shift in my life earlier this year where I did have to start thinking about the fact that I will be bringing life into this world and that life is going to be different. Life is going to change. And I also had to hit the pause button because I literally was too tired, too exhausted, too overwhelmed, too, uncomfortable in certain times where I could not be the same Aisha who's ripping and running and doing 20,000 things and being there for every single person at all times. So I do have moments right now where I do feel like, oh, I didn't achieve all the things that I had on my vision board for the year. I still have a ways to go, but the same thing I talked about in the last episode of Life Reimagined is that we got to give ourselves grace. We have to. Like, our lives literally depend on the amount of grace and patience and compassion that we show ourselves on a regular basis, because it's so easy to beat yourself up on a regular basis over the littlest things that may not be all perfect and accomplished in your life. So if you do get roses, similar to what I've done myself, as you can see, some of the roses are very closed up. And one thing I learned during my floral arrangement making class is how to open the roses up and make them look even more beautiful. So I'm gonna try to do this with all of them. Some of them may not open, which is okay. But basically, this is another reason you got to take off those the thorns, child, because this would have hurt. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna go like this, and look at that. It just opened it up. I can go a little bit more. Yeah, sometimes you might lose a leaf. So you just want to make sure that you get a good. There we go. And this is just going to help them to open up. Really, really, really beautiful, really simple. And this was a fun trick that I learned in my class. Now the flowers are officially prepped and we are officially ready to start making our arrangement. So I bet you when you buy your floral arrangements, there is generally a little packet in there of some type of concoction, some like white concoction. And what I learned is these are actually effective. They actually work, so you should be using them when you are putting your arrangements together. If you don't get this packet, it's okay. You can add some water and just a little bit of bleach, and it's gonna do the same thing as using one of these packets to help to make sure that your plants are feeding properly and getting the nutrients and nourishment that it needs. So I'm just gonna go and add this to my vase, and then I'm gonna add water on top. Great. So now we have the water. I generally like to fill mine up about halfway because I'm going to be refilling it with water throughout, the next couple of weeks to make sure that my plants actually last. So I'm going to start putting it all together, and to make sure that it not only fits in the vase, but also that you can get the proportioning right, we're going to cut off some of the end of the stem before we add it into it. So this actually is a pretty good length, but I'm gonna make it just a little bit shorter. So when you cut it, make sure that you're cutting it at an angle. There we go. And this is gonna help the water to penetrate really nicely. And then just pop it in there. I might make it just a tiny bit shorter. And we're gonna start to just create our arrangement in a circular motion and then add each of the different flowers into it in a way that makes sure that everything gets showcased, but also highlights some of our favorites. So I'm gonna start off with these beautiful roses. There we go. And add them around. And now we're gonna mix it up a little bit and add some of the other flowers to it. And when we're distributing the flowers, we want to make sure that it's even amongst, or if you want like one side to be a little bit heavier on one particular flower, that's fine too. Good. All right. Wow. It's coming together. I mean, if I wanted to do a whimsical bouquet, I could probably just leave it like this and then add like maybe one or two more. But I really like how this is looking right now and I want to make it a little bit more full. So I'm going to keep going. So tragedy struck and I didn't realize that my camera stopped recording as I was going through the rest of the video. And I was going to take these apart and start all over again with each of them, but I was also recording on my phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase the process of me putting together the arrangements on my phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include some of the footage from my phone for the rest of the video so that you can see the entire process of me putting together each of these bouquets and these arrangements. This is just a testament to giving yourself grace and patience and not beating yourself up over the situation. There was definitely a time in which I would take everything out and act as though I was redoing it and try to remember exactly what I said and redo this entire thing. But I just feel like for me right now, it's better to be just transparent about what happened and let you know that I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. And these things happen. And sometimes it may feel like the end of the world. It does feel like the end of the world to me right now because I'm like, I haven't done Life Reimagined in 2 weeks and then this happens. I'm sad about it, but it's okay. We move. I'm thankfully, like I said, was recording on my phone. This is a teaching lesson for you and for me to just keep going. Despite the mishaps, despite the misfortune, the things that don't necessarily go as perfectly or the way that we want to, and to use that to strengthen us. I'm going to learn from this, and now I'm going to make sure that I check and pay attention to the time and how long it's taking me to shoot certain content. And also, I just want to I want to be more transparent and let you know that I am human and that certain things happen and that things might not always go my way. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not just sharing that on here to inspire you. Like everything that I say and share is from real life experience and the things that I've gone through and the lessons that I've learned along the way. And this is no different than that. And there you have it. That was the process. It was a little janky in the middle. They got us, but we're back. And I hope that everything that I was sharing came across in a way that made you feel good and that also was entertaining and inspiring. I'm gonna go and put these around the house right now and make my home a little bit more beautiful. So I hope that it inspired you to do the same with yours, because life is literally what we make it. So why not make it more beautiful? Thank you so much, as always, for tuning into this week's episode of Life Reimagined. See you next Saturday.